Welcome to the basics of digital advertising. You are one step closer to mastering the basics of the digital advertising landscape. By the end of this course, you will have the basic knowledge needed to set up your first digital advertising campaign. In previous lessons, you were introduced to the digital advertising landscape, and we dove deeper into digital advertising platforms as well as the variety of different ad formats that exist. We also talked a little bit about digital advertising strategy. Now let's discuss the various ways in which digital advertising can be purchased. There are generally three ways that you can purchase digital advertising. 1. Publisher or content provider direct. 2. Programmatically in the form of programmatic guaranteed, preferred deal, open exchange or PMP. And 3. Through digital advertising self-service platforms. Since digital advertising can be purchased in various ways, the buying method all depends on a few things, including what type of content you are looking to purchase, how much you are willing to spend on the campaign, and your specific programmatic buying software capabilities. First, let's talk about publisher or content provider direct. When you think about some of the largest digital content providers, Google, Meta, and Netflix for example, many of them have the option to purchase their inventory as a direct buy. This isn't to say that those providers only do direct buys, many also have the option to buy programmatically and on self-serve platforms as well. A direct buy simply refers to purchasing ad space directly from a content provider's advertising sales team. Direct buys usually involve a media buying process, which starts with an advertiser sending the content provider an RFP, or a request for proposal. The RFP usually includes the budget, the campaign goals, objectives, KPIs, target audience, creative, and any other relevant campaign details. The content provider will then respond to the RFP, presenting media plan options along with supporting presentation decks to sell through the deal. Once the deal is sold, the campaign usually is executed by an insertion order or IO, which is a contract between the advertiser and the content provider outlining the terms of the agreement. Within the IO are typically payment terms which are agreed upon, and the content publisher, for example, will bill the client monthly for delivered inventory. Direct buys are typically reserved for larger budget buys, more than $100,000, and sponsorships. When you are buying digital advertising sponsorships for the Super Bowl, for example, it's typically done through a direct buy sponsorship. The next way to buy digital advertising is programmatically. Programmatic advertising is an automated form of ad buying that is done through advertising platforms by using software. Content providers that are selling ad inventory use programmatic ad platforms called SSPs, or supply-side platforms to sell their inventory. Some popular SSP platforms include Google Ad Manager, Magnite, and OpenX. And advertisers looking to purchase advertising programmatically use DSPs, or demand-side platforms to purchase inventory. Some popular DSP platforms are The Trade Desk, DV360, and Amazon DSP. In order to purchase advertising programmatically, you must have a DSP, and you will need to work directly with the content provider on the terms of the programmatic buy. Four of the most common types of programmatic campaigns are programmatic guaranteed or PG, preferred deal, open exchange, and private marketplace, PMP. Programmatic guaranteed is a type of programmatic deal where the seller and buyer agree on a set price and terms for inventory that is specifically reserved for that buyer. The inventory is exclusively allocated to the buyer at the agreed-upon price, and the inventory is guaranteed. A preferred deal is a programmatic deal where the seller and buyer agree on a price and terms for inventory that the buyer can choose to purchase. The buyer gets the first opportunity to bid at the negotiated price when an ad request for the inventory is made. Preferred deals are non-guaranteed because the inventory is not reserved for a specific advertiser, and they are not required to make a purchase. Open exchange is a programmatic deal where any advertiser can bid on a publisher's available ad space in real time, typically through an ad exchange. The highest bidder wins the ad placement. A private marketplace deal is an exclusive programmatic deal where only selected advertisers are invited. It operates like an open real-time bidding auction but is limited to trusted advertisers, giving content providers control over which advertisers access their inventory. And the final way to purchase digital advertising is through self-service platforms. Digital advertising self-service platforms are used to buy advertising directly from the content provider without the use of a salesperson or software requirement. Self-service platforms offer advertisers the option to buy and manage their campaigns, create ads, and more. Some digital advertising self-service platforms to check out are Meta Ads Manager, Amazon Ads, Google Ads, LinkedIn Ads, Spotify Ads Manager, TikTok Ads Manager, Disney Campaign Manager, Paramount Ads Manager, Roku Ads Manager, and Samsung Ads. So to recap what we have learned, generally speaking, digital advertising can be purchased in one of three different ways. 1. Publisher or content provider direct. 2. Programmatically in the form of PG, preferred, open exchange, or PMP. And 3. Through a digital advertising self-service platform. For advertisers with large budgets, direct and programmatic buys make the most sense. Direct buying assures guaranteed inventory and is usually reserved for large sponsorships, and programmatic buying provides efficiencies and control to large advertisers with big budgets managing multiple campaigns at once. Self-serve platforms make the most sense for smaller advertisers that do not have access to programmatic buying software or don't meet the budget requirements for direct guaranteed buys. Regardless of how digital advertising is purchased, it is important to check out the content provider's creative spec requirements and product offerings, as each content provider has specific creative requirements and can offer a wide range of digital ad types and formats. Now, let's learn a little bit more about digital advertising buying metrics.